I thought I had been through all my yarn a couple of weeks ago when I made this here video, but since then I have found some more and also found some interesting projects. So follow along, you will see some interesting ways of using yarn. After I thought I had weighed all yarn, there was this here suitcase with quite a bit of craft supplies in it. There's more scrap yarn and bits and pieces. And then there's all this here linen crochet thread that I had used to make this here. I have crocheted this using that there linen. It's quite sort of rough yarn, but keeps lovely colors. And this here square is one of the few in my life that I have used a ready-made pattern for. This is called the Rustic Lace Square. Although even with this I have changed the numbers of stitches quite a bit because I didn't think it was sitting right the way it was done. But I have this done and I have never used it. I have to think of where I could put it. I like it. In my last home I had used this square to make a bathroom curtain. In here I want to mention these here. I get them out of there. This was an interesting recycling project I was involved in. I still have some left. And what we did was we collected cotton, you could call rags, anything that was no longer usable, that could be just shredded. And then it was sent to a place that spins yarn and they mixed it with real raw wool. I don't remember the percentages anymore, but this is chunky, warm wool. And I have used it for this here blanket and also child cardigan. And then I have some of this here left. This has been used for weaving. Most of you probably don't know that I have a degree in textiles, primarily loom weaving and designing that. And this is one of the things I have woven, and these have been part of it. I really enjoy weaving. It's a different kind of a craft altogether, but a lot of fun. Here's another one I have woven. This is linen. That first one was cotton. All those tiny balls of wool were starting to pile up, so I'm knitting them into a very colorful scarf. Always changing the color in the middle of a row. I rarely remind people to subscribe. I don't think I have for the last year, but other YouTubers say it's good to do it. So if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. I also found some unfinished projects, like this one. I actually like ripping things out and then reusing the yarn. Already as a child, I loved watching my mother soak ripped out yarn so it became straight again. She often used yarn several times. Like if there were holes somewhere in an item, there would still be good yarn in other parts. I need to buy a new yarn winder. These kind of balls are not practical. You might wonder what these are. At one stage I was dyeing felting wool, so just wool from a sheep, and then half spinning it. So as you can see, it's been sort of spun a little bit, but not really. And what I was using this for was for a wall hanging where I felted it all into a flat surface. But unfortunately I couldn't find that wall hanging. And more things where I tried out spinning, adding like beads and glitter yarn to wool. How much yarn is there in that box up on top? Not much. I'm just leaving it there, but there are some craft photos there. About 30 years ago, I was living in Northern Ireland and selling things at craft fairs. These here are pictures made with lace crochet. These are knitted either on a machine or by hand. More lace. And also sewing. Sort of Little House in the Prairie style dresses. If I was selling at craft fairs now, I would choose one type of a product, not such a mishmash of everything. But I was completely new to craft business then. I also found this. It's not particularly pretty, but it's something I made when I was about 10. It's out of this here type of cotton yarn that's a thicker one than this here, is used for rug warps a lot, but it's also used a lot for crocheting, especially lace bedspreads. It lasts forever. I vaguely remember making this, and I was looking at this here cord. It's not crochet, it's some sort of braiding, and it's completely square. I don't remember how I would have made that. Already as a small girl, I always just started making something and making it up as I went. Do you know how this has been made? The technique is called sprang in English. You can see it close by. I learned this technique, must be 30 years ago, maybe 40, in a class of traditional crafts, and I have loved it ever since. I mean, it's a bit of a hassle to make one, so that's why I don't often get to make any, but I still remember clearly how you make it. The technique is said to be about 4,000 years old and originate in Egypt, but the word that's used in English is actually Swedish. The Finnish word viitelöinti is completely different. It has only the warp, no weft. You have a long warp, you work at the same time from both ends. And since you have worked from both ends, then you crochet the stitches in the middle and sew it up so that it doesn't start opening up again. And because the yarns go from side to side, it automatically makes this kind of a pattern. I have made quite a few of these in the past. I just happened to see this one now up in that box. I hope there's something interesting and new to you in this here, and especially that there would be something that would give you ideas of what you would do yourself. If so, please tell me in the comments. It would be nice to know. Till next time.